crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning, Bix Weir, WW-3.com. I had an interview with a friend of mine. I can't say the name of the site. I can't say anything about it because YouTube is YouTube. But go to roadtoruta.com, the very first page of the public road. You will see this video. Go check that out. But that's all I can say about that because of the censorship police on YouTube, which I have been fighting for a very long time. I'm like the last man standing from all my friends who have been kicked off. So yeah, go over to Rumble and BitChute and anything other than YouTube. I keep this. People say I talk too much about gold and silver and cryptos on YouTube, but truthfully, that's all they allow me to talk about. I've had 2 strikes before, and I'm not going to go down that road again. On the private road, we talk about everything. So yeah, the juicy stuff is on the private road at roadtoruta.com. Okay, here's what we got. This is really interesting. Wall Street on Parade, they've gone over the Fed's financial stability report says that $20.3 trillion is subject to a run in the banking system. That number is hysterical because in 2008, you guys remember 2008, the financial crisis, the bailout of the banks was the initial bailout, $700 billion. $700 billion was what they needed in 2008 to bail out the banks. At the time, if you guys have been around the road to Ruta for a long time, at the time, I was screaming the next bailout is not going to be $700 billion or $1 trillion. It's going to be $20 trillion. That's what I said, $20 trillion bailout. And now we have the Fed coming out saying, yeah, the banks are subject to a run up to $20 trillion. And then I said, there's no way they would allow this bailout. Congress won't agree on it, and then what? And then we go back to the old ways. Gold and silver as money, because that's, if the banks do have any kind of run now, the game is over. It's so easy to destroy the electronic monetary system now that everything's on the edge. So just keep that in mind. Here's what they wrote. Last Friday, the Federal Reserve published its financial stability report, which takes a detailed look at the U.S. financial stability through the second quarter of this year. Although the Fed does its best to put a rosy glow on the outlook, it's not a pretty picture. We found the most disturbing sentence in the report to be the following. Overall estimated runnable money-like financial liabilities increased 3.4% to $20.3 trillion over the past year. Given that a handful of banks this past spring with a combined liabilities of less than $1 trillion caused a full-blown banking panic and bank runs, the Fed's figure of $20.3 trillion of runnable money is not a comforting thought. The Fed elaborates, the banking industry maintained a very high level of liquidity overall, but some banks continue to face funding pressures. Meanwhile, structural vulnerabilities persist in other sectors engaged in liquidity transformation. That's basically selling U.S. bonds at a loss. The banking industry overall maintained a high level of liquidity since the May report. Funding risks for most banks remain low, and large banks that are subject to the liquidity coverage ratio, the LCR, continue to maintain ample levels of HQLA, high-quality liquid assets, given the risk of their funding structures. That said, banks that came under stress and experienced large deposit outflows in March continued to face funding pressure. Since March, volatility has abated and deposit outflows have largely stabilized, owing in part to actions by the Department of the Treasury, the Fed, and the FDIC. But these banks nonetheless continued to face challenges navigating changes in depositor behavior, higher funding costs, and reduced market values for investment securities. That's the bonds. That's all the crap that's on the banks' balance sheets. And when the banks panic next, they're all going to be selling the same assets because they're required by law to hold these same assets. And when it comes back on them, it's going to be ugly, $20 trillion run on the banks. That's the end game. So when does it start? Any day now. Any day now. I think 2023 is the year, but we will find out. But it could happen literally any day now. So keep an eye on everything. Everything. They're going to blame the war. You know they will. They're going to say, oh, you can't take your money out of the bank because we're at war now. That's why the Biden administration is dying to go to war. They're doing everything they can. We got so many military personnel and ships and aircraft carriers right outside of Israel and all throughout the Middle East. This is going to start there, and it's going to go around the world. I don't know when this insanity is going to start, but the reality is it's the bank's only way out. It has always been the bank's only way out. You got to cause a war. So that's what's going on. Hang on to your hats. The U.S. public is not ready for this. I'll guarantee you that. Wait till bombs start being lobbed right into the United States of America. And yes, they can do it. Truthfully, I think the majority of what goes on here will be cyber attacks. And cyber attacks, you might think, oh, that big deal, my computer doesn't work. Really? Big deal, your computer doesn't work is a big deal. You'll have no access to information. They'll shut down nuclear power plants. I mean, that kind of power is at the hands of those who control the computer systems, which is the bad guys, potentially. I think the good guys have final say, but it is a big deal. Everything is a big deal these days, and because we've been lulled into silence, I mean, people around California walk around with their head in the fucking clouds. They have no clue what's going on. Financially, geopolitically, nowhere, any clue. They're still worried about, what gender you are. I hear they're looking hard for a third gender. They just can't find it. It is insane, but I do feel there's a big swing in that world, with BLM being ostracized and the Democrats not knowing who's a terrorist organization and whose side you need to be on. It might look like the Republicans are falling apart. The Democrats are falling apart 50 times worse. They don't know who to root for in these battles, and so they start battling themselves. Republicans, I don't know. I don't know if we should have a speaker. I don't think we should have any government. I think that the days of government helping we the people are long gone. Go back to our Declaration of Independence. Pull out a $100 bill and look on it. See what it says about overthrowing your government when they get out of hand. That's written in gold on the $100 bill. Pick it up, get your magnifying glass out, and read the part of the Constitution that they chose to put right on the $100 bill. We reserve the right to overthrow our government. And that's what's going to happen. So, we are moving into that kind of world. Not going to talk about silver today. It's same old, same old. We're right on the edge. The big thing in silver is they're blowing through the silver stocks like you wouldn't believe. And I don't believe JP Morgan holds 500 million ounces of silver at SLV. I just don't. I don't think they are. They shouldn't. And if they did, they rehypothecate it all. They're liars. They're cheaters. They're scoundrels. They're criminals. So if you own any SLV, get out, sell it, take your losses, use them as a write-off for the year if you have losses, and go get some real silver. Stop helping them. Anybody who invests in SLV is helping the bad guys, or CEF, or what's the other? SLV, PSLV. Any of that. That's derivative silver. That's all that is. Mining companies, no way. I was into that a long time ago, and then I figured out they're too valuable for when the shit hits the fan for anybody to realize that kind of money. If we're going back to gold and silver standard, every mine will be nationalized. Every single mine, especially foreign mining companies that, we trade on the New York Stock Exchange, but our operations are in Canada and Mexico. No. Every country is going to put its arm around their own place, their own people, and say, hey, this is what we've got to work with. Do I think they'll nationalize individuals' gold and silver? No. There's no reason to. They can't, really. How could they? Most gold and silver owners own guns as well. You're not going to see it happening. They go door to door to find, 10 ounces of silver that your neighbor down the street bought because he was scared for his financial future. Everything is happening now. I wanted to talk about this because cryptos are flying. I hope everybody understands that. Cryptos are back on the run again. Now everybody's starting to talk about again. The newbies who sold out during the crash are going to be getting in. They're not going to get in yet, but they're going to get in probably $40,000 or $50,000 Bitcoin, and everything's going to run up again. It's going to go to $100,000, and then they'll crash it again. It'll go to $250,000, then they'll crash it again, and go to $1 million, then they'll crash it again. We've seen it time and time again. It's not that cryptos are great, although I think many of them are. Not most are crap. Many of them are. It's that the place it's taking in this system, it's better alternative than unbacked fiat money where they control your lives. And if you don't own your own cryptos, if you don't have them in your own possession, you don't even understand cryptos at all. The whole reason Bitcoin was invented was to have a peer-to-peer cashless system outside of the government criminality. It was literally, the white paper was released right after the 2008 crash when they had to, literally days after Congress approved $700 billion Wall Street bailout, days after that, the Bitcoin white paper was released. And the first Bitcoin was mined, I think, early January of 2009. That's what that cryptos is all about. So, and since then, there's been so many machinations of, well, we can do so much with the blockchain. Absolutely. And I'll get to the Reggie Middleton patent in just a second, because that is going to be to own some Veritasium is so important for anybody who owns any cryptocurrency, because it's a hedge. Reggie's patent covers most of the crypto space that is out there today. And don't blame Reggie for making a patent on something that we all wish we had. Patents are very powerful things. He has a patent on peer-to-peer transactions using the blockchain. Read the patent. It's a great patent. Oh, by the way, did I tell you that Theta has 12 patents? And one of their biggest one is edge computing, which is the future of AI. But I believe, a lot of the Theta offerings infringe on Reggie's patent. I don't blame them. Reggie's patent was an unknown thing until it was approved. So if Reggie wins his case against Coinbase, which it looks like he's going to, right here, Veritasium Capital suit alleged major revenue drivers, proof of stake wallets, and USDC of the largest US blockchain company, which is Coinbase, infringe a patent that has now been twice affirmed by the patent office without a peep from the media. How to research the risk, not through the media influencers. Reach out to Reggie. Yes, of course his patent is, they gave him a patent for a reason. Nothing better for Gary Gensler to throw a little monkey wrench in all the DeFi products that are all in violation of Reggie's patent. Or Ethereum, NFTs, violation of the patent. It's not Reggie's fault. He invented it, but the patent office wouldn't release the patent. As a matter of fact, the SEC went after him. And he wants cryptos to thrive. Absolutely. He knows what's going on. But he also wants to be paid for his work. So it'll be really interesting going forward how the Reggie Middleton patent influences all the crypto trading, all the crypto companies. If you own NFTs, you own the patent to NFTs, anybody using that technology should be paying Reggie. How much? Who knows? However much he'll put out his patent. Here, use my patent. It costs you a penny per dollar or whatever. I don't know how he's going to charge for it. But he can't shut people down for patent infringement. Does he want to? Absolutely not. What he wants probably the most is, hey, let me do what I was doing before the criminal SEC came in. Release the 98 million Veritasium tokens back to Reggie. I did hear that those tokens are locked up in a multi-sig wallet, and Reggie's one of the signers who has to sign it if they're going to be unlocked. Interesting. Again, Cliff High's data had the U.S. government coming to Reggie to help them out as the system implodes. Peer-to-peer transactions in capital markets. No more brokers, dealers, high-frequency traders stealing all your money. 5 years ago, when I was screaming about it, no one believed me. You're so full of shit, Bix. You don't even know what you're talking. Veritasium is nothing. That guy's a criminal, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, the patent gets awarded, and everyone's like, oh, no. You can't patent Bitcoin. You can't patent all these technologies. Now they're starting to scratch their head. Holy shit. What if it's real? It is a real patent. It's twice been affirmed by the patent office. We'll see what happens with the Coinbase case. And when Reggie wins that case, everybody will have to come to Reggie and say, this product I have here, this NFT product, yeah, it violates your patent. Let's make a deal. Now, I did hear the Theta guys say, I guess Reggie approached them. I'm not sure. I don't know. But Theta guys said, no. We've got nothing to do with Reggie Middleton. Of course, they want their patents enforced because the patents are amazing. There's like 10 or 12 of them. One's on edge nodes. They just came out. Theta awarded patent 11763332 for edge computing platform supported by smart contract enabled blockchain networks. Now, I don't think that violates Reggie's patent, but it is necessary for AI to work properly, and nobody's talking about it. It's crazy. Edge computing is the only way that AI would work, the Internet of Things would work, because you got to get it close to the source. And when Samsung and Sony download the software that is Theta, the Theta Edge Node software on every smart TV they own, the world changes completely. Will it happen? Absolutely. What will that do to the price of Theta? Pick your price. And Theta Fuel. And if there's anything that is covered by Reggie's patent, everybody's going to have to come to Reggie, including the U.S. government. As well they should. Remember, when Reggie got this patent, nobody was talking about this stuff. DeFi, that wasn't even a thing back then. In 2014, when Reggie filed for the patent of DeFi. And all the Tether people, Reggie has that patent. Those criminals over at Tether and all the stable coins. Reggie wrote it in his patent. Read the patent. He doesn't call it a stable coin, but he says, you got US dollars that can be linked to the blockchain, blah, 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 and went through it. It's a great patent. So yes, I do think Veritasium will eclipse the price of Bitcoin at some point, as was Eclipse Data. The question is, at that point in time, when the world's falling apart and our exchanges aren't working, will we even survive it? Will the human race survive the coming chaos? Built by the bankers, for the bankers, they built the system so that we are absolutely dependent upon them for living, which is sad. But yeah, so yeah, last September, Theta got another patent. And edge computing. Just think about edge computing. Let me give you a hint. I had to look it up. I mean, I'd heard of Theta talking about it, and they said, this is going to be huge. Nobody understands. So I went to the IBM website. Edge computing is a distributed computing framework that brings enterprise applications closer to data sources such as Internet of Things devices or local edge servers. The proximity to data at its source can deliver strong business benefits, including faster insights, improved response times, and better bandwidth availability. The explosive growth and increasing computing power for Internet of Things devices has resulted in unprecedented volumes of data. The data volumes will continue to grow as 5G networks increase the number of connected mobile devices. In the past, the promise of cloud and AI was to automate and speed innovation by driving actionable insight from data. But the unprecedented scale and complexity of data that's created by connecting devices has outpaced network and infrastructure capabilities. Sending all that device-generated data to a centralized data center or to the cloud causes bandwidth and latency issues. Who's been screaming about this? I've been screaming about it. Edge computing offers a more efficient alternative. Data is processed and analyzed closer to the point where it is created, because data does not traverse over a network into a cloud or data center to be processed. Latency is significantly reduced. Edge computing and mobile edge computing on 5G networks enables faster and more comprehensive data analysis, creating the opportunity for deeper insights, faster response times, and improved customer experiences. Okay, that's what it is, and voila, here we have the patent from Theta. Theta has a patent. Methods and system for blockchain and smart contract supported decentralized computation are provided. A computation task from a task initiator node is registered on a blockchain, assigned to an edge computing node within a decentralized computing network, with tasks sent by the initiator to the edge computing node through a secure peer-to-peer connection. The edge computing node determines a solution to the computation task. The solution may be verified on-chain by a smart contract, and a token reward from the task initiator may be given to the edge computing node by the smart contract correspondingly. The solution may alternatively be verified off-chain by the task initiator. A token reward may be given to the edge computing node by the smart contract upon solution. That is edge computing right there, using the blockchain. So they got the patent on it. Oh, by the way, some of that is probably covered in Reggie Middleton's patent. Smart contracts are. Yes, smart contracts. Reggie had the smart contract idea very early on. So we're moving into a world that is completely different. If the regulators stay in place, yeah, we're going to have to live up to these patents. If the regulators are moved and governments are removed, probably not. But would all this stuff even work without governments around the world? You see how complicated life is? That's why I highly recommend having at least one Veritasium token. It's your I've been calling it a lottery for a long time. It's like winning the lottery. If Cliff's data comes true and Veritasium's worth 1 Bitcoin at least. But then again, will Reggie even stand up for it? Will Reggie give his intellectual property to the current holders of Veritasium? He says he will. And there's a lot of Veritasium holders right now who are fighting for Reggie. And Reggie's a good guy. He'd stand up to that. He'd say, hey, you get discounted IP for the very tokens that are out there. I think more likely the U.S. government will come back and say, you got to help us. Here's your 98 million tokens back out of the 100 million that you made. And oh, by the way, we're in deep shit. Can you help us? And he'll continue where he left off before the SEC came in and turned into such assholes. For the banksters. That's why they did it. They took Reggie down because his technology was a way around the criminal banking system that we have right now. So, yeah. Two of my favorite tokens. One, Theta. You guys can get Theta on, go to Simple Swap, I think. You can get Theta and Theta Fuel. Veritasium can only be gotten on Mercatox, I think. There's a couple shady, Mercatox is pretty shady. And you can swap Ether or Bitcoin for Veritasium, but you can't buy very much. That's why Veritasium is so volatile in price. Let's see where it is. It's at $28, under 30 bucks. But look at the volumes, $24,000 in volume. And if Cliff's data is correct, Veritasium eclipses the price of Bitcoin. Yes, there's 5 times more tokens out there, so it's even massively bigger than Bitcoin. But you can see why it would be bigger than Bitcoin. If every single crypto on the planet violates Reggie's patent, other than the standalone blockchains, yeah, it should be bigger. It's a bigger thing. It's all encompassing. I don't know how this is all going to be worked out, but it's going to be worked out one way or the other. So yes, I love Veritasium. Reggie Middleton, what happened to him was unconscionable. But he's used to it. He's been abused his whole life by the system. But he's standing strong, and he's ready to come in and help when the government asks. I would highly recommend that you want a good deal and you're running a crypto alt token and doing things that violate the patent, approach Reggie and say, hey, it looks like your patent's going to stand. What can we do? Work out a deal how do we work this? That's my advice. But hey, not everybody's going to take my advice, unfortunately, to their detriment. But yeah, right now, get some Veritasium if you can on Market Docs, which is crazy. But also load up on Theta. I mean, edge node is the future of AI. Without edge computing, you have no AI. And you have no internet without in some way expanding broadband. No, they're not going to put $5 trillion to expand broadband throughout every country. In Africa. Africa's the big one. They don't have the infrastructure. Oh, by the way, they have the smart TVs now. And maybe even very soon, rumors that you can run an edge node on your cell phone. Imagine that. How many cell phones are there in the world? When it's all, I get it. I had a buddy up this week, and he's like, "Oh, whatever happened to the crypto thing? I heard it's over." I'm like, oh my God! When I hear that, I know every time that Bitcoin and cryptos are ready to run again. And then when they come back, when my friends come back and say, "Oh, what can I buy? How do I get some Veritasium? How do I get some Theta and Theta Fuel?" That's when I start thinking, "Oh, wait, should we sell? Because they're coming back." That's why hodlers always win. I know Snippy's saying sell all your cryptos when Bitcoin hits 38,000. I think that's a crazy thing. Well, he doesn't say all. Your trading bag. I think that's crazy. You've missed so much. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to sit there and hodl and wait. Patience is a virtue. Because you won't be timing it. Nobody times it perfectly. And nobody knows. Will it stop at 38? Will it stop at $138,000? I don't know. You don't know. There's very much, I can give you 1,000 reasons why Bitcoin should be $138 rather than $38. The biggest reason is the amount of money printed, or the 20 trillion that's going to be needed for the banks, that they leverage up to 200 trillion, and then it's poof, goodbye. And then all you're left with is gold, silver, and cryptos. What are they worth then? I don't know. It won't be measured in US dollars, probably. Purchasing power of one Theta token, maybe I can buy a house with a Theta token. Who knows at that point in time? Everything's about to change, and that's what we got to get into our head. Everything is changing. Again, AI is the next thing. We've gone, you can see the cycles of, when the internet came, well, it was when telephones came in, and then the internet or computers came in, then the internet came in the 90s, and then blah, 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 and then blockchain, and the next thing is AI, and then there should be something after AI. But right now, a lot of money's flowing into AI, not knowing what it's going to do. But Theta, it's a backbone. It's the railroad tracks, as Cliff calls it. And there's so many other things that Theta does. Anyway, yes, I do believe Theta is going to run crazy. Again, go to roadtoruda.com, listen to my discussion. The old world order is falling apart. Check that out with my friend. I can't say his name on this channel, unfortunately. And subscribe to his channel, which has got kicked off in the early days of YouTube. Also, we are still giving away the Silver Ruda coin with every subscription. 1-year subscription to the Road to Ruda. Coolest coin ever made. We give it out with every 1-year subscription or renewal to the private road at Road to Ruda. Go check it out. Click on subscribe today at roadtoruda.com. If you want the free stuff, just put your name and email address on the left side and you'll get free updates almost daily. All right? That's what I got for you. This is Bix. Oh, I'm talking to Will Lair later today. That's probably going to go on the private roads because we got some good stuff to talk about. That's all I got for you. I'll talk to you later.